Hey everyone, this is episode 1 of Sketchup for Home Projects, and I'm Jeff Boots. I want to just get started right away. Instead of going over all of our tools one by one, what I want to do is take a drawing, something maybe that's familiar to all of us, something small, like a small project, and then use the tools to build that project so that you have something to go over when you're using it on your own. So what I've done is I went on the web and I found me a mission style end table, and to me it looks like the short dimension is probably 18 inches and the long dimension is 24, and we'll go ahead and say that the height is going to be 18 inches as well. Now this will be the bottom part of the end table, and then we will go ahead and put the top on it. And it looks to me like that top hangs over about, let's say, 3/4 of an inch. I'm also looking to see that that front rail looks like it sits back just about 1/4 of an inch as well. So, and then I'm guessing that the legs are 2 inches by 2 inches. The bottom rail, I think, would be 2 inches by 2 inches as well. It looks to me like the side slats should be 2 inches wide by 3/4 inches thick, and about 2 inches spacing between. So why don't we go ahead and get started? All right, the first thing I want to do is go to top view, and if you do not have this on your top or on your desktop, go to View, Customize Toolbar, and then you can see the different tool palettes that are available, and that would be this one right here. All right, so why don't we go ahead and get started? What I want to do is I want to go ahead and make the leg. So let's get the rectangle tool, and let me see here. If you hold over that, it should tell you. If you press R, that would be the shortcut. So let's press R. We get the rectangle tool. Let's start right here at this point. This will be an inference point, and it'll go right to that intersection. Let's draw it out, and then why don't we go ahead and type in 2, 2 and enter. That will give us a 2-inch leg. I want to go ahead and use my zoom tool, which this is zoom to extents, which would be my leg here. I'm going to pull it out just a little bit. So now we have a leg. I'm going to orbit, bring it around like this. I'm going to use the push-pull tool, which is this right here, and the shortcut for that is P. I'll press P, and right now, because we made that rectangle and it's closed, we have a face. So I can push or pull, which would be extruding this face. So I'm going to pull it up, and we said our table height is going to be 18 inches. So let's press 18 in return. If you hit the space bar, that will take you out of your tool. Why don't we zoom out a little bit and orbit around? So now I have a leg that's 2 inches by 2 inches by 18 inches tall. What I want to do is, if I were to take another rectangle and add it onto this, this way, and then try to extrude it out like this, this actually becomes part of the leg, and that is not what we want to do. So I'll do Command Z and get rid of that. Spacebar gets me out of the tool. I'm going to triple click this, which selects all faces. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say make a group. So now this leg is actually all by itself. So if I were to do what I did just a minute ago, I'm going to press R for rectangle, come in, make a rectangle. If I go to push pull this, you can see now that it is actually 2 different items. See the line here? So this one is independent. If I take this and I move it using the M or this symbol here, and I grab this and I move it away, see how it's actually separated? All right, so let's get rid of this rectangle. And we will erase. Okay, so I know I need 4 legs. And if we look at our drawing, we can see that the left side and the right side are the same. So what I would like to do is I would actually like to just make one side and then we'll copy it for the other side. So let's go back to our drawing. I know I want to be 18 inches. So if I take a tape measure tool, which is this one over here, or a T, if I touch this line here that I'm working with, and I move it in the area of the green right there, and if I want to stay in the green direction, I can press Shift and hold it. It'll keep me in the green direction. And then I want to type in 18 and return. Spacebar to get out of that. So if I take this leg here and I want to move it, but I want to copy it, I'm going to press M. Now if you look at the bottom, it says Option equal copy. So if I press Option, or on Windows, if the Alt key, you see there's a little plus sign right there next to my arrows. If I come down to this corner and I move it out and let it snap to that line, I'm now 18 inches away. So now I have my 18 inches between my uprights. I'm going to go ahead and delete that guideline. All right, so now I have 2 legs. Not too bad. So let's go back to our drawing. If we look, we can see that most likely our rails and our stiles that hold our slats here are the same size as the legs. And I'm going to say we're 2 inches up off the floor. So if I go back to my drawing, what I can do is I can T for tape measure, go up 2 inches, press 2, enter, and then sit on this line again, go up 2 more inches, press enter, and then let's use the rectangle tool to make that rail. So let's R for rectangle, go down to those. Now we have a face. See how it turned into a face. We can P for push pull. I'm going to grab it, pull it across, and just touch. I can touch anywhere on this line and it'll stop. I'll press left click, get out of it with my space bar, triple click this, right click it, and say make a group. Now what we do know for sure is we know that this, there's another rail that goes all the way even with that. So why don't we go ahead and stay on that. Let's press M for move. Now if I move it, I'm going to pick a corner. If I move it, I don't get a copy of it. But if I Option or Alt, it's going to make a copy. We go to the top. All right, so now I have my end piece. All right, so let's look at our drawing or our picture. We can see that I'm guessing we're probably 1/4 of an inch in on the edge here. And then we got a 3/4 inch slat. So that gives me 1 inch total, and we should have about 1 inch on the back side. So let's go back to our drawing. Why don't we get some guidelines? If you go up here to edit, you can actually delete the guides just with that click right there. So edit, delete guides. It's the same on Mac as it is in Windows. So let's get some new guides. Now T for tape measure. So I want that 1/4 inch. So let's go, I'm going to say 0.25. It's easier to put in there. Let's go 0.75. There we go. And now I should have 1 inch. All right, so we know that our slats are spaced 2 inches apart. So if I take a tape measure and I come over here and I go 2 inches, enter. And then go another 2 inches and enter. There's my first slat. Go another 2 inches. There's my space. Another 2 inches. There's my slat. Another 2 inches. There's my space. another 2 inches, and there's my last slat. And then I should have 2 inches left over. So I'm going to get out of that with the space bar. I'm going to press R for rectangle. And we only need to make one of these because then we can copy the rest. So you can see I now have a face. I'm going to press P for push pull. See when I get the little blue dots, I press that. I go up. All I got to do is touch this line, and it'll only go as far as that line. You can see that we're right against our top rail. I'm going to triple click it, right click, and make a group. Now I'm going to press M for move, Option or Alt to make a copy. Grab this corner here, move it to here. I'm still in move, but I'm not in copy, so I need to press Alt or Option once again. Move that. All right, so now I have effectively made that end piece. I'm going to go back to Edit and say Delete Guides. All right, so let's go back and look at our picture. In fact, let's kind of get this at the same angle maybe our picture is, so you can kind of see how it looks similar. So if we're looking at that, pretty much, looks very similar with the exception of we don't have any wood material on it. So, all right, so we know that we have one of these that's already made. Now we need the second one. So what I want to do is I want to group this all together. Right click it. Make a group. Now we know that we got to be 18 inches. So let's go here. Let's pick along this side. And let's move this along the red axis. You can see that. Type in 18. Whoops, I did not type in 18, it looks like. Type in 18, enter. So I want to take this, I'm going to say M, and then I'm going to say Alt or Option for copy. I'm going to move this. Now one thing that I need to do is remember you had a 1-inch reveal here and a 1/4 inch reveal here, so we need to flip this one around. With the move tool, if you look, there's these little red X's which allow you to rotate right around the center. So if you click on the red X, you can then turn it around. If you look in the right corner of your screen, you'll see where it shows that I went 90 degrees. All right, so now I have a carbon copy or a mirror image. So I'm going to press M for move. I don't need to copy this time. Go to the corner. All right, so let's kind of put that kind of in perspective, the way that our drawing is, or our picture is. So we can see that we have both our sides made. Actually, you know what? I made a mistake. We're going to be 24 inches wide. So let's take that tape tool and let's go 24. All right, now let's take this and move it. And see where it clicks right on under that corner. So you know that you made it. Let's say Edit, Delete Guides. All right, so let's take a look at that now. And it looks very similar. And like I said, my dimensions may not be exact. These are basically just arbitrary dimensions. So if I look at our picture here, I can see there's a bottom shelf. It looks to be 3/4 of an inch thick. And to me, it looks to be 3/4 of an inch in from the edge of the leg. So what we need to do here then is let's take our tape measure tool, T, come in, make sure we're on the green axis, 0.75. And we'll be the same on this side. Let's go 0.75. And then let's come down 0.75 for 3/4 of an inch. Use our rectangle tool. We have a face now. So let's pull that. And then just touch this side and it stops. let's say delete guides. Kind of put this back into perspective view. All right, we're looking pretty similar, I think. All right, the one thing that we have left to do to finish our base for this would be this. We need to get our rails, the front and back rails. I'm going to guess they're probably just 3/4 of an inch pieces, and they're going to be back 1/4 of an inch as well. And they're probably going to be 2 inches tall, or we're going to at least say that they are. So let's not forget to group this. Let's triple click that, right click, and group. Now, forgetting to group things was probably my biggest headache when I first started using SketchUp. And once I realized that you need to group things together, it sure made my life easier. So don't forget to group. Let's use our tape measure tool. Come over 0.25. Come down 2 inches. Come over 0.75. Enter. Now rectangle tool. There we go. That's a face now. See how the little blue dots are there? Let's push it over. All we got to do is touch this. See if we keep going, it goes right on through. Let's just touch that, and I got my rail, my front rail. So let's triple click that, make it a group. Now here's a cool thing. Since we know that it's the same on the front and back, let's just come over here. Let's go in 0.25. Let's take this, let's move it with an M, and then Option or Alt click. Catch that corner, bring it over. I got a copy, put it in there. All right, let's delete our guides. All right, we're getting pretty close. Getting pretty close. Just making sure everything's grouped together. All right, so now we have what appears to be the base of our table. Now let's go look back at our drawing. And it looks to me like we're probably 3/4 of an inch over, I would say, on the overhang or the reveal. So let's go back. Let's look at the top, and we could just press top view here if we want. Let's get a rectangle. Let's take it all the way. All right, now the reason that I didn't say do some guides or whatever outside is I want to show you a new tool. And this tool right here is called the offset tool. And F for offset. So if we press F and see how you got your little red dot. So if I press that, see this square? I can either come inside or outside. So I'm going to say 0.75. That gives me my overhang. I'm going to go ahead and click each one of these and delete these edges so that we just have one. If you look in here now, we have one big rectangle. I'm going to pull this. I'm going to go 0.75. Now, if we look at this, kind of looks like we have a nice nice table. I mean, I think just the way that it is looks actually pretty nice. But let's take a little bit further. If we look at this one, we can see that there's a rounded over edge. So let's look at this. Let's go back. Now what I can do is let's look at this edge right here. Let's take an arc tool right here. This is 3-point or 2-point arc. Grab it. Top, bottom, and then start to pull it out. And let's just get just a little bit of a bulge is all we need. Now you see that's a face. So what I want to do is I want to use a new tool. And I'm clicking on the top of this. I haven't grouped this yet, so that I can select these lines all the way around. And I'm going to use this tool that's right here. Follow me. I'm going to click on it. And now I'm going to go to this piece that I want to follow all the way around there and watch what happens. Now, isn't that awesome? Look at that. Now we have a nice mitered corner. It's a rounded joint. If you look at this, let's try to get it in the same perspective view here. Maybe a little more like this. If we look at that, very similar. Now here's the great thing about modeling. It looks to me like my 24-inch dimension here was probably off. We might be more like 20 inches or so. So let's go ahead and triple click this. Right click, and we'll make that a group. All right, so we've essentially now made at least a model of our table here. I think it looks pretty close. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, there's a lot of other things that we can do with this. There's some joinery and some other things that we need to do if we're going to construct this. We can also put wood material on this to make it look more like the picture. And I want to do that in next episode. So hopefully you guys have understood a little bit more about how to use SketchUp by actually doing a little bit of project. What I would love for you to do is comment in the section below and let me know what projects that you started working on to use these skills. I think we went over quite a few tools, and you can see that it's fairly easy to use SketchUp. So thanks a lot for watching. My name is Jeff Boots, and remember, dream, design, and create. We'll see you in episode 2.